All right, so we're at the NYBeauty Suite Ribbon Cutting event, and I have Jackie. He is here from Celebrated Makeup Artist. Welcome to the Black to Business podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we like to always start off with introducing our guests and telling us a little bit about who you are, what is it that you do in your business, and how did you get where you are today?
So to start with the latter, I started doing makeup in college. I graduated from the illustrious Central State University.
Ooh, we love it. Shout out.
And it was homecoming weekend, and one of my girlfriends was going. I was a broke college student, and I just wanted to help her out.
Yeah.
Help her feel beautiful. And so I did her makeup. She had this really pretty tropical palette. I think it was like CoverGirl or Wet n Wild,
Yeah.
affordable.
College.
Yes. And so I did her makeup, and then she let me know that people were asking, like, who did your makeup?
Yeah.
Like, hook me up. So I set up a table in the lobby of the dorm the next day, and I think I charged like $2 or $3. My goal was to get a rib dinner. You know how they set a rib dinner?
Oh, it's so weak right now. I love it.
So that was my goal, and it just kind of catapulted from there, and I am in New York.
I am amazed. Wait a minute, $2 to $3. Okay, so let's talk about growth. So how did you, what was your journey like to getting where you are today? Like, how have you been able to get clients, maintain? And I think the one thing that you mentioned is that they saw something on your friend. I'm sure that people are listening are wondering, how can they stand out in an industry that they feel is oversaturated? So for you, what was your story like, and what advice could you give to those about standing out?
So my story was, as a black man, my main people that I wanted to cater to were black women. Mm-hmm. Because that was, besides my father in the grooming industry, that was my first introduction to beauty and skincare. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't really care about anybody else because I knew that black women were underrepresented.
Right.
And I received a message not too long ago. I was on a birthday trip, and a young lady was like, was this the guy that used to work at Bare Minerals or Bare Essentials? And he made me feel so seen and so heard. And that was my unannounced goal. And so I always stuck with that because I feel like you guys are so underrepresented in the beauty industry, in so many industries. But being that the beauty industry is mine. And so I just kept going, kept growing, and just my main thing was making people feel comfortable. And if they want to take their makeup off, then I'm like, no, because we all have something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my main thing with people is to give people an experience.
Yeah.
They can pay to go to Sephora and pick up this or Ulta or whatever other brands they may shop with, but giving them that experience. And I learned that from Beyonce. And when you go to her concert, baby,
it is an experience.
$10 or $3,000, you're gonna leave like, I'm not working hard enough. That whole create an experience for people when they come in. If you offer them water or wine or being timely, being responsive, being respectful of people's boundaries, and some people are, and I don't like to use the word dealing with mental health, but respecting people's space. Some people don't like to be touched as much or as often, and so you have to be able to adjust your artistry to that.
Wow, that is, I'm learning so much today because I never even thought about that in the industry. And I think that speaks to, like you said, knowing your person and giving them that individual experience. I think that it's so key. So for someone who is starting and they're in their first year of business, what advice would you give them?
Start small. Start small. Let's say you're renting out a suite space. Don't rent out the whole 3 or 4 rooms. Start with 1 room.
Okay.
And that was a mistake that I made when I first got started. I wanted to start off big, and that didn't work out in my favor. And so I would say start small and encourage your, if you live in the same state or city with your family members, start with your family members, because word of mouth is the best advertisement.
I love it.
And when they can say, oh, who did your makeup, or you have foundation on, but they're asking, what's your skincare routine? So they don't even know you have foundation. And when you have a woman or a man or non-binary, however you identify, that you have them at a foundation, you got them for life. Start small.
Yes. Start small. And so, what are you looking forward to in 2022?
In 2022, one thing that I'm looking for is increasing my peace and
Talk about
protecting
that.
my peace. One thing that I learned about myself during the initial lockdown, that I'm okay with my own company.
Oh,
I'm okay. I don't need to be surrounded by 15 different people gassing me up. I also protect my peace. I go to the park and I sit and I love to people watch. I love to read. I love to be on TikTok.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. The next thing I'm looking to dive into the training aspect of artistry. That training and development and reaching out to younger artists or less experienced artists and helping them along their way, because so many times we have that crab in a barrel mentality.
Yes, talk about it.
And there is plenty of room for everybody. I'll be doing a show in North Carolina coming up in March. Mm-hmm. And there's a young lady who she's up and coming. So I'm like, make her the lead makeup artist, because I've already done that before.
That's powerful.
Yeah, so it's like, and then like I told her, I'm so excited to learn techniques from you, because I'm a little more experienced in my air quotation. Then there may be a technique like, I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. So being humble enough and being solid and rooted enough in your own talent, you don't have to poop on anybody else.
And that's so powerful, because it's I think you and I were saying yesterday also about how, we also have a community of people who genuinely want to support. There is a community of us who really want to see each other win. And I think that's what you're personifying, is that I want to see each other win. It's not taking anything from your shine or my shine by putting you there. And I think the other thing is the opportunities that may come from those things when just, it's not always just about you, and somebody might see that and then they love that in you. So
I've gotten so many gigs because of that.
Yeah.
And I've gotten gigs from people that I don't want to say gave an opportunity to, but allowed them to step in front. Mm-hmm. And then here I come interviewing for something else, and they're the person in charge. And they're like, oh no, we gotta have him. You know what I mean?
See, those relationships, it is so amazing. And I always am inspired by the people I come across within any industry, especially us. And I'm so inspired by our stories. And I just want to ask you, what does it mean to you to be Black in business?
It means to be groundbreaking. It means to be an inspiration to my nieces and nephew.
Powerful.
It means to be someone who has the qualities that I kind of channel from my ancestors. Mm-hmm. What irritates me most is when our people say, we are not our ancestors. We are. They fought tooth and nail.
Tooth and nail.
And we must continue their fight. And so that's what it means to be Black in business.
I love it. So Jackie, how can people, they're wondering, how can they find you? How can they connect with you? And how can they support you?
So I also have a podcast. It's on The Stoop with Coop, and it's on all streaming platforms. You can find me on Instagram, Jackie Cooper Jr., celebrated makeup artist. I'm on Facebook as well, Jackie Cooper Jr.
I love it. So Jackie, thank you for taking the time to speak with me, sit down with me, and just share your story. I'm inspired, like I said, and I'm pretty sure others are inspired. And just the little nuggets that you were able to give us, it's like we are so inspired. But thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. If I could leave your audience with one last piece of advice.
Please do.
Stop networking. Start building relationships. You network like, hi, it's very robotic. My name is so-and-so. I do this. But when you build relationships, it's like, hey, so-and-so, I know your birthday is coming up. What's your favorite color? It just means so much more. So,
I love that. I love it. I love it. Of course. And for everyone listening, until next time.